A good Erev Pesach to you. I'd like to just run through some of the halachas. Most of them we've already discussed. In order to put them in perspective, you should have them ready for you for on Pesach. First, this Thursday is Tadas HaBachoros. Those who fast normally, the firstborn, have to fast on Thursday or hear a siyum. If somebody didn't hear a siyum and they're in a special situation, they should be in contact with me. B'dikas Chametz is done on Thursday night, even though it's Yud Gimel, it's a day earlier because we cannot do it on Shabbos. And it is done as regular with saying Holach Ma'adya. Mechiras Chametz is done this year a day earlier also. It's done on Friday, and one should be careful to keep all the chametz that they have in a secure place to make sure that nothing happens to it between the time of the mechira until after they eat it on Shabbos, because one has to be careful. It's not going to be able to be sold if you put it away separately, according to some. Everything should be kept in a clear place, and anything that's left over has to be disposed of in a way that would render it hefker. Those who make a mechira mukdemes, a early mechira, who have that custom, that is done on Thursday before Shkia. One is obligated to check even in the places where he's going to be eating on Shabbos. He should not rely on the fact that he's going to be eating there and finishing everything up, because there's always a possibility of there being chametz there that you're unaware of, and therefore it must be checked, though you are going to be bringing chametz into there, though it may be in a contained manner. The burning of the chametz is done on Friday. The kol chamira is omitted, and at that time one should get rid of all chametz that he's going to want to not have on Pesach, on Erev Pesach, and have in mind that he is going to keep it separated in a clear place, that which he's going to be eating on Pesach, and that should be disposed of on Shabbos when the Kol Chamir is said, after one is already forbidden to be partake from the chametz. The Shreifas chametz itself is done at the normal time, though one is allowed to partake in chametz even until into Shabbos, into the morning. The actual burning is done customarily at the normal time, at the 5th hour. As far as preparations for Shabbos and the Chag, anything that a person needs for the Chag that has a malacha preparation to it should be prepared in advance. The maror must be kept in a special place, in a special container, a Ziploc bag, a lock and lock container, Tupperware, whatever it is, that'll make sure that it doesn't lose its potency. Tinfoil with plastic bags. The leaves that are used for chazeret should be made sure that they are dried off, that they shouldn't be soaking in water, that they should be considered like the halachically pickled, or that they should get wilty. In either case, it'll be questionable if they should be able to be used at the Seder. One should take care that they are dried out more or less, and if there are any leaves on the bottom that are problematic, make a few extra leaves to make sure that you don't run into the problem. It's possible and worthwhile. Some people, they take the chasa and they put it into a pillowcase and let it drain in advance. This way they won't have any problem. The salt water should be prepared before Shabbos. The charosa should be prepared before the Shabbos. The zroa, the beitza, the charosas, salt water, all of these things must be prepared before Shabbos, because if one does not have it taken care of, they will have to speak to someone at the time to find out how to do it in a way that is permissible on Yom Tov. All things that are needed for a Seder night, if you're not having the Seder in your own home, they cannot be brought on Shabbos for Yom Tov. Therefore, they have to be brought before Shabbos. If you want to bring your matzahs, your wine, whatever it is, it should be brought on Erev Shabbos, so that you'll have it immediately for Yom Tov on Leil HaSeder. Again, the halacha tells us that one is supposed to make sure that he starts the Seder as early as possible after the proper time. Therefore, in my opinion, one should be using on this Shabbos for two reasons, disposable dishes. One, because there's some chametz that may be being eaten and you don't want to have any crumbs of chametz that are left over and chas v'shalom come into your Pesach food. And two, you want to be free on Motzei Shabbos. That means Leil HaSeder, to prepare for the Seder. If you're going to be busy washing dishes, your Seder, which is short enough as it is, will be cut even shorter. Where should one eat? And Shulchan Aruch tells us that one should eat in a place that is more or less mechubad. It's still Shabbos, even though it's Erev Pesach, and a person should try to the best of his ability that the Suda should have the ambience of being a respectable Suda. If one wants to eat in their Chatzer, they can do that in a respectable way, and that is okay. It should also be in a place where a person can benefit from the candles of Shabbos, l'chachila. If a person cannot do that, then a person should make sure that he benefits from the candles in some other way before they go out. The candles go out. If one would like to eat the bread in one place and the rest of the meal in a different place, because let's say he wants to eat the bread, which is chametz, in his mepeset, on his mepeset, and he wants to finish the meal inside on his dining room table, that is permissible if you have that in mind. Again, one should be careful as much as he can to make sure that the chametz that he eats is contained. In my opinion, he should eat over a napkin, and those crumbs could be flushed down the toilet, or they could be disposed of in another way. The tablecloth, if one didn't eat over a napkin, just ate over the tablecloth. If the tablecloth has crumbs in it, it should be shaken out in a place where they will get soiled, or outside where they are not in your own rishus, but rather in a hefker place, and the birds will be able to get to it, or they'll be trampled on the way, and then the plastic tablecloth can be thrown in the garbage. One should not think that it's okay just to roll up his chametz and put it into his garbage can, whether it's his garbage can personally or the Vadabayas is one. It's not the same. Any chametz left in the cheder madrigot on the property that belongs to the building is still called that it's in your rishus, and it's not called that he got rid of it. If it happens to be in a public garbage can or he's shaking it out in a public domain, that would be okay. Again, what we're really talking about is crumbs that are bigger than a small dot. Anything which is the size of a dot or something like that, as long as they're spread out, there's no problem. However, on the tablecloth, sometimes you can have what's called a Cheerios worth of crumbs together, then that would already become a little bit more problematic. So again, it should be shaken out and thrown into the toilet or dispersed in the wind in some way that will take care of it. Shabbos morning, there are those who have the custom to eat the third meal, sort of shlishis, in the second meal. And what they do is that they break the meal up into two in order to kind of so sort of shlishis, according to some poskim, with bread. And they take a walk, they do something which terminates not only the eating, but an involvement in something else, that there should be a hefsek. And they eat a second Suda before the Zman Isser of Achila. The Zman Achila this year, the Machmer time is at 10:11. The regular time is at 10:41. So around that, a minute or two here or there. And the Isser Hano, which means the time that Kol Chamira has to be said, is 11:27, the more Machmer time, 11:42, the regular time. By that time, a person should make sure that he has shucked out the tablecloths or the napkins disposed of or flushed down the toilet, wherever it may be. There is no chiyuv to finish the eating before that time. One can stop in the middle of eating his bread, get rid of the bread when it comes to Zman HaIsser, and then continue eating the rest of his meal without making a new bracha. And that's the opinion of most poskim. One can do that, and there's no problem. But one must remember to say the Kol Chamira on Shabbos, because he didn't say it on Erev Shabbos when he burnt the chametz. And at that time, he must come to a clear conclusion that any chametz that he has, not only does he disown it, considers it worthless, and get rid of all the chametz that he has. Again, if there's any chametz that's left over, make sure you dispose of it in a way that it becomes nifsal me'achilas kelev. It cannot be retrieved in any way. Throwing it into a public garbage can is not. It would be possibly okay, but if it's one that's in front of your building, that is questionable. It's my opinion. It should be flushed down the toilet or broken up into little pieces and dispersed in the area which is hefker. Those who are not particular to have the morning meal on Shabbos split into two, they have one meal, and everybody should have, even those who are machman, to have split their meal in the morning. In the afternoon, they should have another suda without bread in it. They should have fish, they should have chicken, meat, or whatever it may be, something substantial with fruit to the kavod suda shlishis. Those who eat shvuya are allowed to have knedlach or something like that, and to make it even more substantial. On Shabbos, it is forbidden to prepare for the Seder. That includes setting the table, that includes preparing the candles. Anything that has to do with the Seder should not be done. That means even moving furniture around should not be done at that time. Lighting the candles on Leil HaSeder has to be done after, again, all preparations really have to be done after one says Baruch Hamav V'Lei Kodesh L'Chol, or they said Vatodienu. They have to make some kind of Adola beforehand. One has to light the candles from an existing flame. One is not allowed to strike a match on Shabbos. One should prepare in advance the wicks or whatever he's going to be using, and one has to make sure that he says Yak Nahaz. That means he mentions the Havdalah in Havdalah and Kiddush, and even women who said a Shechianu when they lit candles, they may say Shechianu at this time, even though women don't usually drink from the don't make Havdalah or drink from the kos of Havdalah. On this Pesach Leil Shimurim, that's not a problem. If anybody has any questions beforehand, please feel free to call me. Have a good Yom Tov. Bye-bye.